Imagine you're at the edge of everything you've ever known, standing on the threshold between life and death. What if everything we've been taught about death is wrong? What if there's an ancient text that doesn't just describe death, but actually offers us a map for navigating it? And even more shockingly, that same map can transform the way we live. This text is the Tibetan Book of the Dead, a sacred guide that has fascinated mystics, monks, and scientists for centuries. The most incredible part of this text, it says that death isn't an end. Instead, it's a doorway, a transition through which our consciousness continues to travel. And here's where it gets even more mind-blowing. Modern-day experiences of near death, those reports of seeing bright lights, meeting spiritual beings, or feeling profound peace, actually seem to match what the Tibetan Book of the Dead describes. Could it be that these ancient teachings are pointing us to something deeper about consciousness? What if they hold the key to understanding not only the afterlife, but also our everyday lives? Let's step back and think about this for a moment. Despite all our advancements in science and technology, the question that's haunted humanity for ages still remains: what happens after we die? The Tibetan Book of the Dead dares to answer this question, suggesting that consciousness does not simply vanish. Instead, it embarks on a journey through unseen realms. Every stage of this journey presents unique opportunities for liberation or rebirth. But here's the catch: if you miss one moment of this journey, it could lead to eternal entrapment. The Book of the Dead isn't just some mystical script. It's a revolutionary guide to life, too. By understanding how death works, we can understand how to live with purpose, clarity, and compassion. Because when we accept that everything is temporary, we're forced to live with intention, to focus on what truly matters. This ancient text isn't just for those preparing for death. It's a wake-up call for the living. Are you ready to dive deeper into these profound teachings? Let's explore the story behind the Tibetan Book of the Dead and the visionary master who shared it with the world. What if I told you that the Tibetan Book of the Dead isn't just for those nearing the end of their life? What if it's actually a guide for navigating life itself? At the heart of this extraordinary teaching is the concept of Bardo, a Tibetan term describing the transitional states that exist between life, death, and rebirth. These aren't just stages that occur after we die. Bardo represents any time in our lives when everything we know dissolves and we stand on the precipice of profound transformation. Think about it. How many times in your life have you found yourself stuck between what was and what's yet to come? Those moments of uncertainty when everything familiar fades away and you're caught in a state of transition. These two are Bardos, mini-deaths and rebirths. The Tibetan Book of the Dead doesn't just offer insight into death. It gives us a framework for understanding the most transformative moments of life. Now let's dive into the three Bardos, the stages through which our consciousness travels. Each Bardo offers us a unique opportunity for growth and spiritual awakening. The first Bardo is the moment of death itself, but rather than thinking of it as an ending, imagine it as a moment of pure clarity. In this moment, everything we've ever known fades away, and we are confronted with the ultimate truth of existence. Then comes the second Bardo, known as the Bardo of visions. Picture yourself surrounded by breathtaking sights, visions that are both serene and terrifying. But here's the twist. These visions aren't external forces. They are projections of your own mind, reflecting your deepest fears, desires, and attachments. It's a journey through your subconscious, a chance to confront who you really are. Finally, there's the third Bardo, the threshold of rebirth. Imagine your consciousness, stripped of its physical form, standing on the edge of a new life. Every thought, every desire shapes the reality of your next incarnation. This is where the Tibetan Book of the Dead offers us a powerful lesson. We don't have to wait until death to experience these transitions. Every day of our lives contains moments of Bardo, moments of potential transformation. Now let's get to the heart of the journey, the moment of death. Picture yourself standing on the edge of everything, about to pass through the doorway of the first Bardo. This is the ultimate opportunity for liberation. As your final breath slips away, you're met by a blinding light. The clear light, as the Tibetan Book of the Dead calls it. It's not an illusion, it's the truest reality, the essence of everything you've ever known. Here's where the stakes get higher. If you recognize this light as your true essence, your pure consciousness, you can attain ultimate liberation in an instant. It's the moment of freedom, the chance to break free from the cycle of life and death. But this moment is fleeting, and if you're unprepared, the light can be overwhelming, even frightening. For many, the opportunity slips away, and they're pulled into the realms of the Bardos, moving further away from enlightenment and towards rebirth. So, how do you prepare for this pivotal moment? It's simple. Through mindfulness, meditation, and spiritual practice, by cultivating awareness in life, you train your mind to recognize the clear light when it appears. This practice is what Tibetan Buddhists dedicate their lives to, but it's something you can start doing right now. Imagine preparing for death, not out of fear, but with clarity, knowing that this moment of transition is a chance for enlightenment. For those who aren't yet ready to recognize the clear light, the journey continues into the second Bardo, the Bardo of visions. Here your mind encounters both peaceful and wrathful spirits, each a reflection of your inner world. These beings aren't external forces, they are projections of your own mind. Every deity you encounter, whether calm and serene or fierce and terrifying, is a mirror showing you the deepest parts of yourself. It's a chance to confront everything you've buried, your fears, your desires, your attachments. But here's the lesson. What you experience in the second Bardo isn't just for the dead. These same visions are with you every day of your life. Every fear, every attachment you face now is the same force you'll meet in the afterlife. The Tibetan Book of the Dead teaches us to confront these forces now, while we still have the chance to transform them. As we venture deeper into the journey, we arrive at the third Bardo, the threshold of rebirth. Imagine for a moment you're in a space beyond your physical existence, where every thought, every unacknowledged emotion, and every unprocessed fear pulls you toward a new life. This is the Bardo of rebirth. Here, your consciousness is a magnet, drawing in the elements that will shape your next incarnation. It's not a passive experience, it's an active, chaotic process where the very fabric of your soul is reformed, based on your karma, everything you've done and everything you've yet to resolve. But the most powerful realization here is that it's not some external force deciding your next life. It's you. Your mind becomes the compass that guides you to a new existence. Every action, thought, and intention you've ever had shapes the reality you're about to enter. Your karmic imprints are like the blueprint for your next life. If you've lived with kindness, wisdom, and self-awareness, you might be drawn toward a brighter, more compassionate existence. But if fear, anger, or attachment have dominated your life, the visions in this Bardo will take on darker, more tumultuous forms. It's easy to think that our lives are random, that the events we face are outside our control. But this teaching flips that idea on its head. The Tibetan Book of the Dead shows us that every single moment, every choice, and every emotion we experience in life influences our next chapter. This isn't just about what happens after we die. It's about the choices we make today, the way we respond to life's challenges, and how we live in alignment with the values we hold dear. Here's the kicker. While you may not consciously choose your next life like you choose a new pair of shoes, there's still a way to influence it. If you can maintain clarity, if you can stay detached from the karmic currents that swirl around you, you might be able to navigate toward a life of wisdom and peace, rather than another cycle of suffering and rebirth. The Bardo of rebirth is about recognizing that life is a continuous cycle, but it also offers us the incredible power to transform our fate. The process is intense, but it's also a profound reminder of how deeply interconnected our actions, thoughts, and emotions are with the future we create. And it's not just about what happens after death. This process is happening right now, every single day, in how we respond to the world around us. But this isn't just theory. Let's bring this back to the present. How can we apply these teachings to our lives right now? The Tibetan Book of the Dead isn't just a text for those on their deathbeds. It's a manual for living with purpose and clarity. The Bardos aren't distant concepts for the afterlife. They're real, immediate experiences we face every day. Take a moment and think about the transitions you're currently facing. Have you ever felt like you were suspended between one phase of life and another? Maybe you're going through a breakup, or perhaps you're changing careers. These are moments of transition, mini-deaths and rebirths that mirror the Bardos described in the Tibetan Book of the Dead. Every time you stand at the crossroads of change, you're experiencing your own personal Bardo, where your choices shape your future and your consciousness transforms. This is where the real power of this wisdom comes into play, mindfulness. When we become aware of these transitional moments and embrace them with intention, we can transcend fear, regret, and confusion. Instead of getting lost in the chaos of life's transitions, we can learn to navigate them with clarity and purpose, knowing that each change, no matter how challenging, is a chance for spiritual growth. The Tibetan Book of the Dead teaches us that life and death are intertwined, and by learning to live mindfully, we can make every moment count. It's about recognizing the impermanence of everything around us, knowing that life is fleeting, and that we don't have time to waste on distractions or petty concerns. By meditating on impermanence, we train ourselves to appreciate the present moment and to focus on what truly matters: our relationships, our growth, and our capacity for love and compassion. And here's the beauty of it. This isn't just about preparing for death. It's about living fully, living consciously, and embracing every moment as an opportunity for awakening. Imagine starting each day with the awareness that this moment right now is all you truly have. What would that shift in perspective do for you? How would it change the way you interact with others, the way you handle challenges, and the way you pursue your goals? The truth is, we're all navigating our own Bardos every day, those moments of transition where our actions, thoughts, and emotions shape the course of our lives. Whether we realize it or not, every choice we make is a part of our spiritual journey. But the more awareness we bring to these choices, the more power we have to shape our fate. By living consciously, by practicing mindfulness and compassion, we're preparing ourselves for the greatest transition of all, the one from life to death. Tibetan Buddhists believe that the way we live influences not only our next life, but also our current existence. Every thought, every action, every interaction has an impact on our future. If we want to create a future filled with wisdom, peace, and clarity, we have to start living that way now. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment to change. It's about recognizing that every moment, no matter how small, is an opportunity for transformation. By embracing the teachings of the Tibetan Book of the Dead, we're not just preparing for death, we're learning how to live with greater awareness, greater compassion, and greater purpose. We're unlocking the full potential of our minds and our hearts, and we're learning to live as if every moment were our last. Because in the end, that's the greatest lesson of all. Life is not about avoiding death, but about embracing it as a part of our ongoing journey. So what will you do with this knowledge? How will you approach the transitions in your life? And how will you live today with the awareness that every choice you make shapes the course of your soul's journey? The Tibetan Book of the Dead offers us a profound invitation to live consciously, to transform our fears and attachments into wisdom and compassion, and to navigate the Bardos of life with clarity and purpose. Now let's talk about the ultimate takeaway. What if everything we've learned so far, this profound ancient wisdom, could be applied to every part of our lives starting right now? The Tibetan Book of the Dead isn't just about the afterlife or what happens when we die. It's about how we live, how we face change, how we deal with fear, and how we cultivate an awareness of our mortality that empowers us to live more fully. This isn't just a spiritual or religious practice. It's a life skill. Every day we are confronted with transitions, challenges, and moments of uncertainty, mini deaths, if you will. These transitions can feel like threats, but what if we saw them as opportunities for growth, for transformation? The Tibetan Book of the Dead offers a radical shift in perspective. It teaches us that we don't need to fear these transitions. Instead, we can embrace them, knowing that each one is a doorway to something new. When we confront the concept of death head-on, we're forced to reconsider what we're truly afraid of in life. Think about it. If we could come to terms with the fact that one day we too will pass through that final Bardo, would we live any differently? Would we take more risks? Would we love more deeply? Would we shed the small worries that hold us back from experiencing life fully? Living with awareness of death doesn't mean being obsessed with it. It means acknowledging it as a part of the journey and making the most of the time we have. It's about shedding fear, letting go of attachments, and approaching life with an open heart and mind. If you could face every moment with the awareness that it might be your last, imagine how much more present you would be. Every conversation, every meal, every walk in the park would take on a deeper significance. Life would become richer, fuller, and more meaningful. This shift in perspective doesn't just change the way we see death, it transforms the way we experience life. It encourages us to make the most of each moment, to live with more intention, and to treat others with greater kindness and compassion. And the beauty of it all is that this practice isn't reserved for monks or spiritual seekers. It's available to all of us. By meditating on impermanence, by practicing mindfulness, and by facing our fears with courage, we can begin to live in alignment with the teachings of the Tibetan Book of the Dead. This isn't about waiting until the end of our lives to make changes. It's about beginning right now, shaping our lives, our relationships, and our experiences with the awareness that every moment is precious. Every choice is an opportunity to create a life that is full of meaning and purpose. Now let's take this one step further. The idea of death as a teacher may seem abstract, but the Tibetan Book of the Dead is clear. It offers practical tools for living, not just for dying. The practices it teaches, such as mindfulness meditation, Tonglen, the practice of breathing in the suffering of others and breathing out love, and mantras, are not just spiritual exercises. They are life-changing techniques that can reshape how we experience every moment. One powerful practice is consciousness transference, a Tibetan Buddhist technique designed to help individuals prepare for death. This practice involves consciously directing one's awareness beyond the physical world in the moment of death, aiming it toward enlightenment. But don't be fooled into thinking this practice is only for the dying. In fact, it's a technique we can all begin using today. Imagine starting each day with the awareness that life is fleeting. By practicing mindfulness and acknowledging impermanence, we shift our perspective. We stop taking things for granted and begin to truly appreciate the beauty and value of each moment. Instead of focusing on trivial concerns or anxieties, we begin to focus on what truly matters: love, compassion, and the present moment. This practice isn't just about cultivating peace in the face of death. It's about cultivating peace throughout life. By integrating these teachings into our daily routine, we can start to see life not as a series of events we simply react to, but as a series of moments we engage with consciously. Every task, every decision, and every interaction can become a profound opportunity for growth and spiritual development. Here's where things get even more transformative. These teachings help us break down the walls between ourselves and others. The practice of Tonglen, for example, invites us to take in the suffering of others and send out healing and love. This practice isn't just about making us kinder. It's about dissolving the barriers of self-centeredness that separate us from others, fostering a deeper sense of connection and compassion. Imagine living in a world where we could all see each other's suffering and respond with love instead of fear. This practice invites us to recognize the interconnectedness of all beings and to approach every situation with empathy and understanding. This shift in perspective doesn't just change how we interact with others, it changes how we interact with ourselves. By practicing mindfulness and cultivating awareness of our own impermanence, we begin to see ourselves more clearly without the filters of fear, ego, or attachment. We start to live more authentically, making decisions that align with our highest values and desires rather than reacting from a place of insecurity or fear.